Alright, good evening everybody, or good afternoon. This is Ghost Wheel. I'm about to play Fire Emblem Thracia 776. First I'm going to give a shout out to the Japanese RTA community who have put a lot more work into this game than I have. I wouldn't be here without them. But without further ado, we're going to get started here, so I'm going to count down the time in just a second. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so we've got a lot to go over here, and this is a reasonably complicated Chapter 1 for the series. It's not too bad in the speedrun. First, I guess we'll go over everybody that we're moving here. The Cavalier is named Finn, and he just picked up our Lord, who's named Leaf. The Sword Master in front of him is named Yvail, and she's basically the Jigen of this game. And the Axe guy that we're sending over to this bottom house here is Othland. He's going to his house to pick up his own personal weapons, and he's going to help us out in the first couple of chapters here, just as we get through, and a little bit in the final chapter. Hey, thanks everybody for the luck. And I will be focusing and doing commentary, but if anybody has questions, I will definitely be answering them. So, okay, first thing to note, it's not in some of the most recent Fire Emblem games, but this game has rescuing. Everybody has a constitution stat, and they can pick up people who has lower constitution than them. It's called build in this game. That build stat can also be leveled up along with your movement stat. They just have kind of low growth rates. But when you're holding somebody, you've got lower stats to deal with. A lot of characters in this game also have personal weapons. Like I said, Othland's getting the one from his house here, but Finn here has essentially a Brave Lance that gets him plus 10 luck for his personal weapon, and we're going to use that a couple of times to help out with combat. Okay. Yep, so Othland's personal weapon here has a high crit rate, and it's got 1 to 2 range, and it's got 60 uses. It's everything you want. It's definitely worth the quick detour to pick it up here. Finn's going to go snag that house at the top here, which has the Life Ring, which is essentially the equivalent of the Angelic Robe or the Seraph Robe in newer games, giving you plus 7 HP. And HP is going to be really important in this game, not just for surviving enemies, but also for managing fatigue, which is one of the newer mechanics that came around in Thracia, where every time you fight somebody, you gain a fatigue point, and every time you use staves, you can potentially gain even more fatigue, depending on how high rank the staff is. So our stave users with low maximum HP definitely need the boost, because when your fatigue exceeds your maximum HP, you have to sit out a chapter. And you can clear your fatigue manually by sitting them out, but we're going to be deploying staff users a lot in this game. Of note here is that Yvail is basically the only person who can kill that boss on the throne, because she's got the Fire Sword. Hey, what's up? This is Nitrodog.
Alright. Hello.
He helped work on the old segmented run of this game that appears on Speed Demo's archive. So we're glad to have him on for commentary. So yeah, in this chapter, we're going to go pick up the speed ring, we're going to go trigger a side quest that helps us get a few other extra units, and we're going to go recruit Ronan, because we need any warm body that we can get in this speed run. Like, we need everybody we can get, because we end up having to leave a lot of our army behind in certain chapters just to move on with the game. This game was never released in English, Mimba, so I'm playing it on cartridge. There are English patches that were released, and the most recent one is actually pretty good by Project Exile, but I just prefer playing it on cartridge. The text doesn't really matter all that much since we're skipping all the cutscenes. So we unequipped Leaf's 1 to 2 range weapon here. He's got the light sword as his own personal weapon, but we don't want him counterattacking these guys because that's going to waste time. As long as nobody takes a village, we'll be able to get the side quests. I'm not really sure why those guys don't do it, but I'm not even sure they can. Alright, we're going to take a quick look at Bucks' stats here. Yeah, okay. So this is a point we usually leave to RNG in like an any percent speedrun, but I came up with a little manip to make it more consistent in a marathon setting. But even that is probabilistic, so we actually do have to reset this chapter. Enemies in this game have variable stats, and that usually doesn't extend to the bosses, but Bucks here actually does have variable stats, so Evil doesn't get to two-shot him most of the time. It sucks, but this chapter isn't particularly long, and it's so early that it's just worth resetting over in a regular speedrun. Yeah, I quite like all the muscles in this game, especially on the, what's it called, the pirate archers. They're just kind of like flexing when they're in their idle animation.
Alright, I'm pretty quiet, aren't I? I don't know what I just like.
It's okay, we talked about fatigue. There's a lot of other weird mechanics in this game. What else can we talk about? The fact that everybody's stats are capped at 20, that's kind of an interesting tidbit. We're going to take advantage of that a lot here. Maybe we could talk about Pursuit Critical Coefficient now. Nitrodon, do you want to explain that while we finish up this chapter?
Yeah, so there's a mechanic that people have called Pursuit Critical Coefficient. It's not mentioned in game at all. It basically, well, like in most Fire Emblem games, starting with this one, if you have 4 more attack speed than the opponent, you attack twice. But here, for the second attack, your critical rate is multiplied by some number, which is Pursuit Critical Coefficient. It depends on the character.
There we go. There's that minute in question. So if Avel procs an Adept or critical hit, she'll kill Bucks every time. That's what I just manipulated there.
Right, it's called follow-up attacks in the later games. FE4, the skill was called Pursuit, so I guess that's...
You'll have to forgive us for using some antiquated names for things. It's just what I read when I played it the first time, and old habits die hard. Like... Alright, so the Fog of War in Thracia is actually the darkness of war, and you can't even see anything, even the terrain. But that doesn't matter too much, since you can still see where your units go. We equipped everybody with 2 ranged weapons here, so Othram can take out this guy. And he's going to take out the other 2 guys that come up from the south, while we just kind of truck along with the rest of our units. So, a lot of this early game, you'll notice me switching a lot between Avel's Fire Sword and Avel's Iron Blade if you've got a good eye. And you can also notice this on the map. Like, the map animations in this game actually show what weapon each character has equipped. It's quite neat. But yeah, we're just trying to conserve our use of the Fire Sword. It's very, very, very useful, both in the early chapters for killing bosses on the thrones with 10 defense and 30 avoid, and in the Master Escape sections where you need people with 1 to 2 range. We'll talk about the music note now that we just got here. So basically, every character has their own personal stat, just like the Pursuit Critical Coefficient, called Movement Stars. They can have 0 to 5 of these, and each Movement Star gives you a 5% chance of moving again after your move. And when you see that music note, that's what happens. There are a few times in this run where we actually will manipulate the RNG to pick up the music notes, but manipulating the RNG in this game, as we'll talk about, is something that you can only do, like something that takes time to do. So it's something you only want to do when it really counts.
It takes time, so you want to make sure it's worth it. Wow, my connection sucks right now. So should we talk about capturing since that's going to come up?
Oh yeah. So at the end of this map, Dagger's going to capture the guy standing on the throne, and that's actually going to be how we recruit him. His name is Lithus, and he's a thief. But the important thing that we're going to talk about here is capturing. Like we talked about rescuing earlier, how you get to pick up your allies if you have more constitution than them. But capturing is kind of like force rescuing your enemies. Like you attack at like half stats, and if you kill them, then you get to capture them, and then you get to take their stuff, and you get to release them, which is basically the same thing as killing them. But if the enemy is unarmed and they have lower build than you, then you get to capture them for free. And that's the case with Lithus here. He's actually not holding anything that he can attack us with. Of note, using siege tomes counts as being unarmed for the purposes of capturing. Oh yeah, that's another thing important to talk about. Avale here is not just a Jigen. She's the most jacked Jigen of all time. She's actually literally invincible. She can be captured. The story does allow for that, but the story's not going to allow her to die just yet. So Thracia actually has like a maximum of 99 hit, and I'm convinced that that's only because they want like these actually invincible characters to like be plausibly invincible. Like you could just think, oh man, you know, they just somehow kept missing her. And that's pretty much what happens when somebody tries to kill somebody who's invincible. It's not just Avale who's invincible. A lot of story-specific bosses are going to get that flag, and we're going to have to work around it. So there's the capture in action. We're also going to kill this enemy that we don't need to. Normally you can recruit him if you leave him alive, but killing him despawns him in Chapter 7, and he actually carries an army of sword guys with him that we really don't want to fight our way through at all, so we're not going to. But up next, we're going to do some RNG manipulation, and we're going to exploit one of Thracia's most frustrating mechanics for casual players, the staff missing. Get hyped. So there we go. So that was on purpose, by the way, because when you miss with the staff, you actually don't use it, and you still get the XP and weapon XP. The important thing is the weapon XP. We're trying to get Safi to 8 saves before Chapter 8, so that she can make use of the warp staff here. Gonna take Marty's stuff here for a later chapter, no thang. But yeah, like, since she's using a personal staff there, she actually gets 10 weapon XP for it, as opposed to, like, the one you get from just, like, even using a heal. And we really don't want to use it, because that's the repair staff that we're using, and that's going to help us repair very, very powerful personal weapons and the warp staff a bunch. Okay, good. Awesome. Cool, so that's... Good job, Oakland. That's all the contribution you're going to have for the early game. But we're going to make her miss with the repair staff 5 times in this chapter, and the way we're going to do that is by exploiting this kind of semi-deterministic RNG here. Basically, the way it works is there are 64 possible seeds we could be in right now. The seed is set at the start of the chapter and whenever you hit the status screen. And once you're in the seed, the RNG is discrete, kind of like most other Fire Emblem speedruns, like in the GBA games, where you can just like use diagonals to like pull RNs and be in a certain position with what you want to do. But the fastest way to manipulate RNG in Thracia isn't by doing diagonals, because there's no like arrow that you can use. It's by simulating combat by pulling up the battle preview window here. So I'm going to do that again here. So what I just did there is I simulated that combat 11 times to burn 33 RNs, and burned a 34th by going diagonal here. This guy has an extra move, but it doesn't matter. We can play around it. That's half the fun of speedrunning Thracia. Lots of these enemy stats are very, very variable, but like, you can kind of just work with it. So we're also like gonna employ capture baiting here with Tanya. Like you'll notice that Avel's kind of been dragging Tanya up here. This is so that enemies can just like capture her instead of like fighting us. They'll just choose to target down these low build unarmored units, and instead of killing him, they'll just like capture him, and we can just pop him back out for free. So maybe I'll just continue to clear out these guys, it's no problem. But now we gotta worry about these kids in here that I haven't talked about yet. So, one of these kids we have to rescue because bringing him back to his house gets us a warp staff in Chapter 8. Another kid we're rescuing right now to use as a human shield because we're heartless bastards. That's the kid that we need to rescue to the house, that's Corporal. We're actually going to continue to capture Tanya here because we want her to be gone so that we can get Dagda for free later. I'll talk about that more later, but... There we burned our 34th RN by moving with a unit with a movement star. And we got that miss again. Perfect.
Alright, I'm back in the voice thing. This
Excellent.
time with a better connection.
Alright, another minute coming. So there's a 94 actually in position 35 in all 64 of the random seeds. So that's why we get to do this without knowing which of the random seeds that we ended up in. There are a couple other numbers that are really nice like that, but they're a lot farther down the line, so they're harder to manipulate. But we'll talk about them when we get there. But yeah, the soldiers will not attack the human shield kit, and it gives us a perfect setup for RNG manipulation.
I imagine that at least some of them have ranged attacks, so if they weren't programmed that way, then it would be kind of, you know.
Well, the ones that are stuck there right now don't have ranged attacks, but...
True, but if some of them do, they might just do that for all of them.
So we're also setting up our inventories here. Leaf and Lithus' inventories are going to matter the most because everybody's going to go to jail after this chapter, and Leaf and Lithus' inventories are going to be spread around chests in the prison.
Well, I think it's just Leaf and Lithus that go to jail, and Avel follows them, or...
Yeah, that's right. And other people are left outside of jail, and we'll meet up with them later. But yeah, we got Safi captured there so that we didn't see this text box during this end of this chapter. This is, in my opinion, the most difficult FE on a standard normal difficulty. Like, I think other FEs get harder in, like, a lunatic mode, but, like, this doesn't have a lunatic mode. Alright, so we're in jail now, and we have an entirely new set of people to work with. All of our old army is outside, like I just said, and this is called the Magi Group, and they're here to let us out. Along with Fergus and Karen, who just got thrown in jail for, you know, messing with a guard. This is a good game. The reason I submitted this is because it's an obscure game. For an FE title, pretty much nobody's played this because it's not came out in North America, and like people don't speedrun this like outside Japan a lot of the time. It took me quite a lot of work to figure out what everybody was doing with all this RNG manipulation stuff. I'm pretty proud of the work that I have done. So Brian has a skill called Wrath, which means that when he counterattacks, he's going to automatically critical hit.
Unless he completely misses, like he just did.
Yeah, exactly. Unless he completely misses, but you know, we've you know, learn to play around RNG in a game like this. Improvisation is half the fun. Yep, he's continuing to miss here. What a joke. The other girl, so the thief girl who is standing to the left is Lara, and the sword fighter who is standing to the right of her is Machia. But we have a lot that we need to do in this chapter. You'll notice that there are citizens in the top. We are going to let them out, because that's going to unlock a side quest that gets us our main boss killer. And we also need to get everything from the chests in order to beat all these chapters. In addition to that, Fergus, who's sitting next to Leaf in the cell here, needs to get 14 weapon XP on his sword in order to even survive the next chapter. And Thracia veterans will know what I'm talking about with 4X here. Like, it's got one of the most ridiculous opening turns in the series, in my opinion. This is true, Captain Laughable. What we did, the Darkness of War chapter we did was also a guide-end chapter, but Safi is so important to saving time that it's ludicrous, even in a casual playthrough, in a speedrun, not to go to that chapter. It's basically required. But, yes, there is contention over what the best character in the route might be. Asvel saves quite a lot of time on the boss kills, and I've experimented with the Fergus route, but we've saved a lot of time in this prison escape section, and I don't think it's going to be faster anymore.
Yeah, basically the route goes to 4 different guidance chapters. 2 because they're worth it, 1 because it's also worth it, but also faster anyway, and 1 because you
have
some
to.
people behind.
Yeah, if you leave anybody behind, then you have to go to the guidance chapter where there's a prison, and we get to try and let them out, but we're not going to do that. Oh, let's talk about escape maps. This is actually an escape map. So, Thracia is notorious, especially for people who play the old patch, for its escape maps. And the way escape maps work is, at the top of this map here, there are these 2 red arrows, and everybody who exits those red arrows gets to leave. But when Leaf exits, everybody who hasn't left yet is left behind, and they get captured. And they get thrown in jail. And we have to wait till 21 Guide End to let them out. Doing a little inventory manipulation there so Fergus can get the rest of these chests. And you know, we can get them back, but they'll be at the same level that we left them at. Like, if Brighton gets captured at like level 5, unpromoted, and we're in chapter 21, I mean, you're not going to use them. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, like I said, Drylizer, I've experimented with skipping the other guy down, and it does save a fair bit of time, but you still have to deal with the reinforcements. You do have to spread yourself out a little bit here. And, like, you'll lose time a bunch for, like, other things. Like, if you don't go to 4X, for example, Seti's army in Chapter 6 will show up, and they'll actually waste, like, minutes just, like, wandering around and fighting enemies while you're escaping. And, like, in the Fergus route, you can't kill Veld without picking up Seti in Chapter 23, so that's going to waste time too. Plus, all the boss kills are majorly more inconsistent. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. Fergus is going to wait in front of that guy with the weakest sword that we can give him, and we're going to try and get 14 weapon XP while killing this guy. That's 2.
Yeah, it can't be that fun for the enemies. You're just using them as weapon practice.
3, 4. But yeah, we also need to wait till turn 21 anyway to start taking our units off of these points, because reinforcements are being blocked until then. They'll chase us, they'll capture our units, and we won't be able to do anything about it. 5, 6. I'm going to play it safe on this. I have extra fire sword. Start whacking this guy. We don't want to kill him either. It can be a bit rough, not knowing what's going to happen. This obscure. This is the most obscure FE, and it's also one of the most obscure games. in the series. Like, it's one of the last games to ever come out on the SNES. Like, it came out on the SNES when, like, the 64 was in its prime. 7, 8. Nine, 10. Yeah, that's right, Fuzzy Guy. It's 2 times might, and then you ignore the defense. 11, 12. That's bad. Well, good thing we have extra time. We actually do need to reset this prison chapter over that. That guy is hanging on to him. I guess I could have not done the Minette, but I want to show off the Minette. So that guy is actually not supposed to die there. And getting that double critical is pretty improbable.
Is there some reason you can't use the other guy for that?
Because we're gonna kill the other. Because we need his door key, we're gonna kill the other guy. Maybe I could have improvised it if I thought about it for a little while, but I'm inclined to think that it would have just gone poorly. But yeah, a lot of this marathon ride is safer than you might think. It's just, there are some edge cases sometimes that even I can't plan around. But yeah, we're gonna be taking advantage of that fact a lot. The fact that criticals double their might and like essentially ignore the defense as opposed to tripling your calculated damage.
Yeah, I believe that was a change between this and the next game. I think FE4 also had double might for double attack for crits.
Yes, it did. That's correct. That's what I'm using on Macia, the flash cart of this game. They sold this at kiosks and they gave out like essentially SNES flash cards for this, which is so weird. But it was a lot cheaper to get that than it was to get the ROM version, as you might imagine. Alright, there are 4 chests on that side, that's perfect. This game also, like with the ROM version, I think it came out with like a videotape that like actually taught you a lot of the more obscure mechanics in this game that I was talking about now. Yep, like I said, we've got to wait for these guys to leave, and that's the main reason why we're blocking the reinforcements here. When all those leave, we unlock a guy down. Okay. I heard a sound. I was very worried that I like had left a reinforcement behind or something. Some people call it bad, but I submit I don't think it's bad. I called it obscure, so. Some people get very frustrated with this game, and some people might be right in their frustration. Like I say, we're doing a lot of multitasking here. Getting all the chests, waiting for turn 21, getting all that weapon experience, and it's all going to be worth it in the next chapter. I mean, is that true for post-Fire Emblem Heroes? like, the Thracia representation in that game is lacking, to say the least. We're not even gonna fight Reinhardt in this game.
That's true, Reinhardt. Magic is everything. But they probably don't know anything about it other than Reinhardt exists.
1, 2. Okay. Three, 4. Alright, that's scary. We have to hit him once more, but we can't double crit. Five, 6. Alright, still scared. Seven, 8. So we're either going to use or sell all these chests, so it's not a big deal. 9. Oh, come on. Yep. We need that door key. Well, that's Marathon Luck for you. Well, really glad we're ahead. It's like 10% to crit on the first one and 40% to crit on the second one, so. But because Fergus has a 5 pursuit critical coefficient, like, his chances of critting on the second strike are pretty high. Alright, that sucks. Alright, well at least he crit there. Wouldn't have really mattered, Machi can pinch it in a pinch. So. There are a lot of FEs that I like for different reasons. So when people get into the best game debate, it's just kind of like, man, these games are pretty diverse. There's a lot to love. There's some games that don't measure up, but I don't really need to talk about those. Like, most of the ones that are really good are good for different reasons. That's wrong. That's the consequence of the bad menu from earlier. He's gonna need Tree of Power anyway, it's not big a deal. He's gonna want that Vulner instead of the Iron Sword. Oh, we didn't talk about it because it wasn't all that necessary, but vulneraries in this game are elixirs. Funny enough. You just, no heal and 10 HP, you just get it all. You get it all back. Okay. These dang armors.
Should mention that, also in this game, mounted units can't be mounted indoors, they have to dismount.
Yeah, a lot of these guys that are in here are actually just mounted units. But Yes, I can
Three
hear.
of them, I think. Brighton, Karen, and Felgus.
Yeah, so Karen is actually a Pegasus Knight, and Brighton here, who's standing next to her, is an Axe Knight, and Fergus is a Free Knight, which is a sword-wielding Cavalier. So they all lose their access to their unique weapons, and like lances and axes, and they just have to use swords when they're dismounted. They have like a separate sword rank that they can only use when they're dismounted. Three Houses is a game I still haven't finished because I have been very busy preparing for this. Alright, so we'll have to donate 2 items to Lara to make the inventory management consistent. Just being very paranoid about this for no reason. I should just keep going. Blaze ahead. Yeah, I never really find I run out of magic in Three Houses, so...
Yeah, I'm the odd one out. I've never actually played Three Houses.
There's the rapier. At least I can check the rapier damage now. Because that's what's going to be what ultimately kills the armor on the right. So anyway, at the top of this room, blocking our escape is actually a pretty rude assortment of enemies. Like, there are, what, 12 of these guys? And, like, they've all got, like, battle axes. Yeah, they got, like, battle axes and magic and javelins and stuff. And they can ambush you pretty, definitively.
And one of them, if you would save if the far left kid in the previous chapter, you could actually recruit him.
2.
But we didn't. He's pretty useless anyway. And we wouldn't want to drag him through these chapters, even if we do care about having a lot of characters.
Three, 4.
But you'll also notice we
dang,
haven't
there's 7.
Sorry, what?
Sorry, he does 7 damage to him again at 21, so it's going to be 2 crits kills. Let me check the rapier damage. Yeah, we need 1 more hit, so we got to put our faith in the light again.
Alright, so yeah, you'll notice we haven't actually opened the bottom right area where Rufus is captured. That's because
5,
the
6.
The X guys imprisoned with them will start attacking those knights until the random civilians have escaped. Now that they have escaped, we can free them.
Seven, 8. Come on, give me the 1 crit so I don't have to be scared anymore. Nine, 10. Alright, perfect. That guy's set up to die, so the other guy just needs to not die as well, which won't happen unless, like, I get 4 crits. What's our HP? Yeah, we're definitely healing. $11, 12. You'll see why we're getting 14 weapon XP on Fergus later, but it's gonna be cool, I promise. $13, 14. Alright, that's good. What turn is it? 21. Alright, we're good to go. Perfect timing.
So, about the RNG minute, because we're going to do a big one pretty soon.
Well, give me a second to do this trade. We have sword. Seems to be a specific order too. Okay, cool. So that guy's gonna die. So yeah, let's talk about the manipulation. So, go ahead, Nitron.
Yeah, so when you try to attack the enemy and you get that preview of this is your attack stats and defensive stats, and this is the enemy's attack stats and defensive stats, the game actually simulates an entire battle. Just for some reason. I have no idea why. But that's the fastest way to burn RNs in this game. And whenever you go into, basically whenever this map screen fades in, the RNG is seeded to 1 of 64 values depending on the frame.
Alright, so now Karen's reinforcements have stopped moving, so we can start moving her. We're gonna leave Brighton behind. I mostly didn't mind Three Houses animations, because you could move through them pretty quickly, and they were actually kind of cool. I think the overworld map looks kind of ugly, because, like, the characters look a little small, but that's a nitpick. So, remember I was talking about that ambush with lots and lots of combat? We're not going to worry about that as I do this. But I'm going to need focus while I do this manip, because it's quite a long manip. We're going to manipulate 2 movement stars.
Yeah.
There's one. There's 2, let's go! Woo!
Woo!
Remember, Leaf's got to escape last. But the old strategy for this run was actually to bait these guys out of their little hidey hole and kite them around the donut in the center. So this manipulation, even though it takes a while, is less time than that. Alright, this is Chapter 4X, and veterans of the series will remember this chapter as one with 4 armors in the darkness right in front of 4 mages, with these 2 groups of Laldras like flanking us on the side here. So we're going to use a combination of capture baiting and one of my favorite tricks in all of speedrunning to get past this safely. So Fergus is going to fight these guys at close range, and one of them is armored, so we want to have the rapier equipped. Awakening saved the series, in my opinion, because that was the first one they actually decided to market. Like, I think people would have liked this game a lot if, if I had heard of Fire Emblem 7 before, like, years after it came out. So that specific level of weapon XP right now, you'll notice that we're going to get the weapon rank up after we fight this enemy, and this is the last close range enemy. Now that Fergus has B rank swords, the fire sword that's sitting in the top of his inventory becomes legal. So now he gets +5 magic to resist these attacks, and 1 to 2 range to counterattack these mages. I don't know of another Fire Emblem game where you can do that.
Yeah, most of them just put your equipped weapon at the top of your inventory automatically whenever you equip it.
So okay, we said goodbye to Brighton in the last chapter. In this chapter, we're going to say goodbye to Machia here. Like, she helped us out with that first armor, and we don't really need her back, so we're just going to let her leave. Up there is Asvel and Seti. So Asvel's going to be the one we recruit. He's going to help us out. But Seti's only here for this chapter, and he's a god, basically. We're going to be warp skipping a lot, Captain Laughable, so you're not going to miss much if you've only played to 8x. Most of the story spoilers just happened, so... Like, this Master Escape can be a bit of a... what's it called? A nice surprise for people if they're playing it for the first time. Okay. We're going to put the rapier here, heal ourselves up. So we're going to take advantage of Lithus' steal mechanic for the first time in this level. I mean, we stole a door key earlier, but like everyone steals door keys in every Fire Emblem game. But this time, we're going to take a weapon out of this mage's hands, because that's legal. So you need to watch out for Asvel's health and his fatigue here. Seti's going to block a square that we don't want him to be at, which is a little annoying, actually, for the build level minute. Okay, things are pretty much good. Ferg's going to bait out this mage attack. Well, I guess you got to risk it. He could die here. Hopefully Seti, like, wanders closer or something. That'd be nice. Yeah. Oh, well, he's further away. Okay. Better than it could be. Better than it could be. We just wasted a turn talking to Seti for his scroll. What are we looking at here? 36% chance to die? I'll take those odds.
So did we tell people about what the scrolls do?
Not yet. We got backup Leaf for exactly this circumstance. In this Master Escape section, we pass the Light Sword in because Leaf has all these little turns where if you miss combats, because Thracia RNG is amazing, he can act as a nice backup. Get that one hit with the Light Sword that you might need. Could save your life. And it helps conserve everybody's fatigue, like Asvel's. Alright, things are mostly going well over here. So we go... This.
So yeah, the Crusader scrolls, there are 10 of them in all, or 12 of them, sorry, and we're in the speedrunning mainly use them for the Iron Rune effect.
Yeah, every Crusader scroll, while you have it in your inventory, prevents you from getting crit, which is awesome, but they also influence your growth in specific ways.
Yeah, they each have plus something and minus something for your growth, adding up to exactly plus 30% total.
So Asvel's getting the Hazel Scroll and the Speed Ring here that Finn had in his inventory at the beginning. The Hazel Scroll is going to give you, notably, a plus 30% to HP. Now we're going to open this area where there's enemies in the top section, and we're going to use Karen as capture bait and hope that Lara dodges like she's supposed to. There we go. Now, we're going to try and manipulate a build level up on Asvel here. It's actually not easy because you can't manipulate combat very well in this game because, as we said, looking at the battle preview screen actually simulates the battle. And for characters with skills like Adepts, that can be a real problem with like manipulating inconsistently across the 64 seeds. But that's not going to stop us from trying and giving us the best possible odds of getting a build level. Asvel needs at least one over the course of this entire run to be able to pick up Leaf over the course of this game. Okay. We gave ourselves a better than average shot at getting it now, when it was previously a 10% growth. That's a good sign. Him attacking in 2 hits means I have a better chance of getting it. Excellent! That's one less thing to worry about. Alright. So that's alright, he's gonna kill him in the next attack, right? Yeah, alright, Sonny. You got this. Now, hopefully the bishop attacks him. It saves a turn for him to do so. The bishop can sometimes be deterred by SETI and just, like, not attack him because he won't do any damage. And if so, we have to bust Karen out ourselves. Alright, that's good. So SETI's gonna do it. We have Lithus standing where he is to give vision to SETI, even when Karen gets captured, so that he can do that.
By the way, the computer doesn't cheat in this game?
No, it doesn't.
Because in most Fire Emblem games, they do cheat with Fog of War.
Alright, so... P-Ring.
Alright, you can see NPC Wallace just attacking someone you can't see at all.
Cool, I guess. Alright, so... Chapter 4 set us quite a bit back on our allowed time for the estimate. Hopefully things don't go too bad, but we're definitely going to eat back into our borrowed time here. Didn't expect to reset on that one twice. But hopefully my swag minute for Chapter 5 is going to be nice and helpful here. Alright, so Chapter 5 is a notorious chapter casualty, and it's definitely the worst one for a speedrun. There's a lot that needs to go right here, and a lot you can get scared of, but actually, as opposed to casualty, this Coliseum is not one of those things. We immediately unequip both Avail and Nana, so they get captured essentially instantly, and we don't have to deal with any of that. But normally, Asvel needs to get built here. We've already taken care of that. Asvel also needs to survive here, and he needs to not get fatigued. So, we're going to start him off here against these mages. He can kill them from turn 1, which definitely makes the combat in the upper right corner of this area a lot easier. This is another escape map, by the way.
Yeah, this entire section from Chapter 4 through Chapter 7 is escape maps.
Oh, wait, I didn't do the good manip. We're going to try and manip the top sections to survive, so let's do it.
And we hope that Asvel gets a lot of crits to save Graph Caliber uses also.
364, 306. Okay, cool. So that's one of the seeds that we want. If we start this game immediately as we boot it up, we can actually manipulate the enemy stats to a certain extent. So I've got plans for a lot of these things. Sorry guys, I forgot I even had this planned. But this cool marathon type we have here.
Yeah, I think Captain Laughable is right. I didn't really find it that tricky, that being casual. Just go slow. Well,
if you go slow, it's not all that tricky. But if you go fast and you start pushing the envelope, like, a lot of these enemies are pretty strong for the party composition that you have. I think it's good gameplay as well with Dry Laser. Alright,
yeah,
Asvel almost never dies to this part of the map, so I'm gonna look pretty foolish if it happens now, but he's got magic to spare, and, you know, he's got Avoid like a champion, so... He hasn't dodged one of these. It only came out in Japan, and it came out during the N64's lifetime. as a SNES game.
I mean, pretty much anything before the GBA games is unknown in outside of Japan.
All right.
Although the first two games got remakes that were out in English.
There have been workable English patches for a while, but none with menus. That was the biggest thing. It's like that's rough to not even have the items. I just played this game on cartridge and looked on Serena's Forest for like translations and menu names and items. Like I didn't much care, you know. I just looked up a script. But Project Exile's got something out, so people who want to get into this game, there's not any better time to do it. We're going to use those elixir vulneraries here we've been talking about. So during this chapter, we're going to make use of the support mechanic a lot. You'll notice that we're going to take great effort to leave Leaf within 3 spaces of Asvel more often than not. This is by design. Like, many characters, like, support isn't a thing you build up in this game. It's a consequence of the relationships characters already have with each other. And Leaf and Asvel are buddies, so they give each other support. And that means that if they're in 3 spaces, you get 10 hit, avoid, crit, and crit avoid. Well, Fire Emblem works much better in 2D, or at least at the time it did. Like, can you imagine like what this game would have looked like on the N64 graphics, or at least what they would have tried to done? Like, I'm glad they kept with the SNES formula. It's just a clean game. Asvel getting swole here with like all these build level ups. Pretty soon the cavalry isn't going to be able to pick them up later on. So we're going to go pick up another Fire Tome for Asvel here, just to conserve uses of his personal weapon, the Graph Caliber. We haven't talked about the Graph Caliber yet. It's awesome! The Graph Caliber is a weapon with like 100 hit and like 40 crit. And it's got 40 uses. And so like Asvel's PCC is 3, which means that on the second strike, he's going to get 100 crit. On the first strike, he's going to get 25 crit with the Graph Caliber.
See, also, we're not bothering to move Leaf forward, and this will make sense soon.
Yeah, I mean, it is Nintendo hard, but, like, you know, that is kind of how you were supposed to play it back in the day, you know. So we're setting ourselves up for this fight here at the top section. I wonder if that guy is going to have an extra move or not. Yep, he did this time. Okay. Dryalizer is correct. Your magic weapons count against your attack speed, regardless of weapon weight in this game. Or regardless of your build in this game.
And to answer a question, to respond to something in chat, build, the 1 point of build Asvel got does matter, but the rest doesn't.
So we manipulate that in 4X to avoid resetting in a marathon run in this chapter if we didn't get it. It's like a 75% overall, but you know, I try to keep my sanity up in this run.
Basically, you rescuing only works if you have more build than the person you're rescuing.
And Asvel needs to carry. Yeah.
Yeah, Leaf and Asvel both start with exactly 4 build.
No, Leaf's got Leaf's got 5. Leaf's got 5, and Asvel gains 1 on promotion. So he gets 5 when he promotes.
Okay, well, the point is,
the point is they will end up with the same build if we don't do something about it.
Yeah. And I mean, technically you could have Leaf gain build instead, but we're not actually using Leaf in combat, like, at all.
I'm going to take a bit of a precaution here. It actually doesn't... These turns don't matter at all, so I'm gonna waste a couple of turns to make Karen give Asvel her vulnerary. We're a short one, and I don't want to be left high and dry during the next section. It's only gonna take a couple seconds. We have exactly 6 craft power, which is what we need. That's nice. Who knows if people would have gotten into this game or not? People were pretty weird. Like, it's like I would have enjoyed it.
I don't know. It's kind of weird though because this is actually based on. I mean, you'd probably want to play Genealogy of the Holy War before you play this one.
I guess with the caveat that you would want to play Genealogy first, but okay. So we're gonna say goodbye to Fergus. And we're going to use the Holy Water and take advantage of the fact that magic is the same as resistance in this game. Gen 1. Pokemon over here. And then we're going to try and mimic this top section. Yeah, Smash definitely helped a lot. Okay, so, why didn't he kill? Backup Leaf Charm. Alright, guess we'll just wait a turn. Should be okay. We're, down a Holy Water use, and that guy's gonna get an extra movement for it, but it should still be workable. That's interesting. I don't think we can do anything with that. 34, 1, 12, 7, 17, 6, 2, 7. And we'll run this. Ooh. Not good odds. If I can get 22 by going 10, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully we'll live.
Good luck.
What I've calculated here, I've given myself the best possible odds of surviving all 3 of these archers at the top here. The general is dicey. I don't really know how the RNG translates to the AI just yet. Yeah, that's why this is not giving me good numbers, because you see how he lived with 2 health? If we had done this turn 1 turn earlier, then the Holy Water would have kicked in. Alright, it looks like we're still going to be fine. It may be rough for Asvel fatigue, but we have ways to plan around that.
Yeah, we figured out that Asvel getting fatigued.
Dude, why did you not kill that guy? Okay, that's a problem. Alright, what's your deal? Alright, so you can't slack on this backup leaf. Alright, that's good. Yeah, we need crits. We need Fs.
And remember, Leaf taking the hit. So
yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
Ooh, Leaf got billed.
He's got more.
But Asvel did get a second point of build, right?
He's got more build, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Best thing to do might just be this. Put Karen here. Alright, we'll probably lose here, which is going to eat more at a time. Okay, he healed. That's not what I expected. Mage should come in and attack Lara like normal. Or capture Lara, okay. Okay. I'm gonna steal this like normal. That's good. Let's attack him. We need Lara to come out. Come on. Don't screw me now. Needs to be this. Is it time to use Grafcal here? Yeah, it should be. We need to start betting on Grafcal if we want to win. If Grafcal crits once in the next 2 combats, we're still fine. But I'm determined to survive. I've got the improvising spirit. We're going to do this combo attack here. I'm going to give Karen an Iron Sword. Yeah, that's right.
Well, do you have anyone who can capture? Yeah, who cares?
Alright, well, as was out of holy water, that's going to be another big problem. Like, these problems start propagating even when you start improvising, but I think we can make it work. We go here, we equip the other fire, we sit here, Leaf goes here like normal, rescue him like normal. Not saved yet. Not by a long shot. More enemies to get through. Crits, adepts, that's what I'm looking for. That's 1 crit. Yeah, baby. I'm not panicked, I'm excited. Let's roll! They got left behind. We let them get captured and dragged off. Okay, that's a good start. It's a very good start. Leaf gonna take that meter. Oh, he should have healed himself. That's my bad.
I did warn you.
You did warn me.
Exactly that reason.
Alright, we're gonna do this one more time. And, if that doesn't work, we'll use the backup save I made for Chapter 5. It's okay. That's not right. Yeah, this game is not giving me the reasonable luck I've asked for in this marathon. 0, 5, 5, 7, 1, 5, 4. Okay, that's position 48. Yeah, we're not gonna waste too much time with Chapter 5, but I did allow myself room for 1 reset, I guess. Yeah, I did forget to heal with the light brand. I don't feel as mad over that one because we were kind of scrambling to make the fatigue cutoff and to not lose out on Graph Caliber and fire and stuff on the tankier enemies. Like, we were still relying on a turn 1 crit and Graph Caliber between 2 fights. That's not exactly free. Yeah, once we get past this, any time loss is going to be negligible. Like if we don't miss a boss kill somehow, because we're even warp skipping so much, we're not even going to notice. It's basically just this and Fates, Dark 7778. This is a pretty unique game in a lot of ways, mechanically speaking.
So wait, there is another game with to capture?
Yeah, in Fates there's a specific unit that can capture people using a reduced value attack, and then those guys go in your prison in your home base, and you can recruit them from there. So you can just like use generics in your run. It's kind of weird. Yeah. Yeah, it's not close to the same thing.
So, wait, now there's only one game called Fates? There used to be 2 games.
There's 3 Fates stories, but all of them have a character that has that capture mechanic.
I mean, separate DS cards and everything.
You can download it's basically you can download it as DLC onto the other card, you know? That's what I did. Bought Conquest, DLC'd Birthright and Revelations. Yeah, exactly. This is like the longest I think this is the longest Fire Emblem speedrun to the prep screen. Like
Yeah, well, after Chapter 7, we have Warp, and that's... Well,
big
Warp
deal.
is Warp.
I mean, the most time we get from there is the 2 defend chapters that each take like 10 minutes, but that's pretty much it. And the final chapter also takes like 10 minutes. Not getting inherent magic levels means we have a bit less wiggle room.
And we don't even do that much combat in 14 and 20.
Yeah, those defend chapters are beaten about as quickly as any defend chapter can. So. Get another fire for Asvel, just like before. But yeah, I gotta calm myself down. I got really excited with all that improvisation earlier. It's just business as usual. We're just gonna survive, and we're gonna not get under fatigue. I imagine 3 Houses wouldn't be that long a speedrun, but I have not either beaten the game or like beaten all the stories in the game or seen a speedrun of it, so other people can explain better. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about the arena door thing. So when Leafus opens the door, Leaf is just like, he needs to be part of that cutscene, so it's non-negotiable.
And opening the door, normally you'd open the door because Avel and Nana are fighting for their lives. But here they're captured, but you need to open that door anyway because it opens, it basically lets you reach the escape point because there's a wall in the way and turns into a mage.
Good. That mage can harass the bottom units if he moves close enough, but he didn't. Okay. Asel still hasn't gotten a magic level up yet. That's concerning. He can get by, but, like I said, concerning. I mean, you can raise lots of different characters in this game. I think the decision is a lot less clear than even in, say, other Fire Emblem games of who to use. Thank God. It's unlikely for him to die here, but if 2 people start hitting you, then you need to worry. These guys have like 30% hit on you. The top section's bad because like the archers are really, really strong for this point in the game, and they also have like 30% hit on you. But the general basically takes out half your health, and that's more like 50% hit on you most of the time. So like I said, that's why I'm manip to give myself better chance of doing it. I don't do that in normal attempts, and this is basically a big reset stopgap for any percent, but for a marathon, just for you guys. 47 unit run in this game is also really interesting to see routed. I'm gonna learn that at some point, but not now.
What is?
The 47 unit run, like just recruit everybody.
That sounds like hell. And I mean, recruiting Xavier sounds like hell.
It is. So the Holy Order is going to give us +7 magic, and it will decay at the rate of 1 a turn. So he's going to give Azrael support. Okay. Okay. One more time with this minute. Okay, so 35, 0, 4, 7, 18, 6, 0, 5.
What are those numbers you were saying?
Those are the Asvel's stats. Okay, 31 and 10, that seems like the goodest point, the best point. So, yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. This is our chance to survive. Now, we have a 31 out of 64 chance to never get hit, but beyond that, it's still anybody's game. This just made things a lot sketchier, though. Okay, General, you're gonna have to not hit me. He probably didn't. He probably wasn't gonna have to hit me anyway, so that third mage attack didn't matter. Okay. Unfortunately, we've wasted too much time on this other stuff. I'm going to go to the backup save for Chapter 6. The other thing that we get that we haven't talked about other than just surviving and escaping with everybody is the skill ring. Lithus is going to pick up that skill ring. So, I'm very sorry that we had to resort to this, but even with the time that we have to make up, you know, I can't waste everybody's time with a run like this. Oh, that was dumb. He's the wrong character. Okay. Okay, we're calm again. So, yeah, basically, that chapter is really hell. Surviving that top section is the biggest run killer of any percent, and I gave myself a good shot at it in the marathon. I gave myself 2 tries, and this is just kind of how it is. This is another escape capture. We're not going to be doing a whole lot of combat in this. We're just going to be buying door keys, and we're going to be moving on here.
Yeah, the enemy doesn't know you're out there. If you get seen by anyone, which basically means get into attack range or attack someone, then the enemy starts moving and attacking you. Right now, those two soldiers are patrolling, and everyone else is just standing still.
Even with the terrible level ups, it's all about whether those guys hit you or not. That's pretty much what you have to rely on. And we almost improvised our way out of the last one, but it still would have taken a bit of luck to make it out.
Yeah, basically this is a stealth level. You can fight things, you can even kill everything if you want.
And in the 47 unit run, you gotta go pick up a guy named Hicks from one of these villages. Funny thing, we actually didn't rescue all the villagers in 4X, but if you don't do that and you visit the villagers, like whether or not they give you stuff is tied to whether or not you like saved their kid or something. So like if you didn't save their kid, they'll like be really really mean to you. It's like you couldn't save my kid. You're not worthy of being part of the Liberation Army. So we need a lot of door keys in this game. We're gonna buy 6 of them here. And for me, with the new names, again, it's just old habits die hard. So we're not going to be doing pretty much of anything in this league. We stealth our way out. This is no big deal.
And most of these houses you can actually visit without getting seen, as long as you end your turn where they can't attack you.
Remember, Leaf's got to escape left. Actually, press A out there. Chapter 9, then. Okay, so this is another escape chapter. So we're going to be moving up instead of down where the escape point is because we need to block off some reinforcements. As well, that extra move in the file that I made this backup save, but it actually doesn't matter that you got a movement level up. Like, we don't really use that for anything.
Yeah, so basically that forest tile to the left of where Karen is right now, that's where the boss is going to spawn.
That's where Eisenhower is going to spawn. the boss in the last one was Truman, and we got Eisenhower, so I don't know why Thracia loved its American president so much, but...
Didn't notice the connection. Obviously I noticed Eisenhower, but...
Yeah, we got Finn and Safi back. Safi's going to use the life ring that Finn picked up in Chapter 1 to avoid fatigue, basically, throughout this entire game. Redrick's going to talk to Leaf about, everybody needing to go catch up to Leaf, which is pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Redrick talking to Eisenhower, but Leaf is blocking that spawn point, so...
776 is 1776, goddamn.
Wow.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. We did just have a bit of marathon luck here to worry about, but the rest of this game is going to be smooth sailing.
Yes, that castle you're going to is where Hannibal is, so it's exactly where you go to at the end of Chapter 8, was it, in FE4?
Yeah, Castle Nice. And replace this fire.
No, it'd be the beginning of Chapter 9. Yeah. Right, Chapter 8 ends in Manther where you just left, and now you're going toward Nice at the beginning, near the first castle you reaching Chapter 9. Something like that, right?
Sorry, I was trying to remember when I said anything that was, I swear. I apologize if I did. So wait, what did they reuse? What were you talking about here, Nitrocom?
Basically what someone in chat was saying, that this is where this area was in FE4.
Yeah, I think this might be Chapter 8 or Chapter 9, like...
Yeah, beginning of Chapter 9, because this is Hannibal, so...
Yeah.
Hannibal's in Chapter 9.
So we picked up the Holy Water with Finn there. We're going to be using that a little later. We're also going to give Safi the skill ring so that she never misses with staves again. We're also going to give Safi the skill ring so that she never misses saves again.
Yeah, I do kind of see the resemblance in the Manster Town map and the Ostia Town map, now that I think about it.
It's
But
close.
again,
It looks similar.
It might
at
be
least.
just a generic town map, so.
There's an arena on it. You come in from the bottom instead of the top. Got different goals, but it looks kind of similar. So there's that.
I mean, it's a town map, so I guess a lot of town maps look the same.
Alright, so this is the first time where we get a prep screen. And we're going to go get that warp we were talking about earlier in Chapter 2 from the storage. Yep, I've seen that video. I've just forgotten where exactly everything is these days. So we're going to use the first use of the repair staff to fix up the Graph Caliber, as well as personal weapon, because we're going to use it to kill all the bosses here. We unequipped Marty earlier in Chapter 3, and that's who just moved toward the shop right there. The really cute thing about the enemy AI in this game is that if they don't have weapons and there's a shop around, they'll actually go and buy some. So we're actually taking advantage of that to reset Marty's position over here and make him easier to capture with Carrion, because once we do that, we'll be able to recruit him.
And also, back in Chapter 3, you'll remember that Tanya was captured. If both Dogda and Tanya are alive and not captured, then there's a side quest, which you'd have to capture the boss here. We wouldn't go there anyway. And then that side quest would be how you recruit Dogda and Tanya. Basically, Gomez is in charge of the bandits in this house or something, and he captured Tanya for leverage against Dogda.
Leaf is passable in this game. He hits the stat caps if you give him scrolls. He never gets fatigued, and he has a pretty good personal. Like, he's certainly not like the worst lord you could be using. Karen. So this is another escape map here.
But I'm saying since Tanya was actually captured in Chapter 3, you get Dogda here for free because Gomez doesn't have any leverage against him.
Yep. It's pretty nice. It's one of the weirder things that you might not even know casually in this game, like that, because it involves like leaving another unit behind to like skip to get an easier recruitment of another. Yeah, we just get.
If Tanya's dead or captured by the end of Chapter 3, you get Dogda for free here. If Dogda's dead or captured by the end of Chapter 3, you get Tanya for free here.
That's why we had her get dragged off in Chapter 3. But yeah, this chapter is really, really convenient because it lets us reset our fatigue on Asvel and Safi, for one. But we are going to leave Carrion and Marty behind, even though we just got them. It's a dang shame, really. Yeah, like anyone could capture Dagda. That's a good point.
And guess we should mention, even though it's not actually relevant most of the speedrun or any of the speedrun really, this is a defend and arrive / escape map, just like Chapter 7 was.
Oh yeah, I mean, there was no aggression in Chapter 7, so we didn't need to worry about defending that point. But this is looking a little closer, right? You know, we gotta make sure everybody gets there in time to actually defend this
Well, there
point.
would have been aggression if you had let the enemies spawn.
It's true. If I didn't kill Shiva there, they might have had a shot.
Oh, yeah, we should have mentioned. Yeah, Shiva got killed in Chapter
2X.
and therefore he's not alive to bother us. But he wouldn't be trying to capture Mies. That would have been Eisenhower's troops.
Yeah. Yeah, he tends to go after Finn and Safi and just generally get in our way. Remember, escape with Leaf last, even if Leaf is in the back of somebody who's rescuing him.
Of course, we don't really need to actually fight these guys because we can just we have Karen.
But yeah, even full recruitment runs don't go to 8x because of that. Exactly what's pointed out. You can go back and rescue time again from prison. This is kind of a fun warp skip map, even though warp skips are kind of silly. Alva, where like we actually have to defend Leaf against significant pressure here. That's incorrect. But it doesn't really matter much.
Kane and Alva are going to be left behind sometime.
You just
don't worry about that. So yeah,
So we set up this bad fire here for this part of the warp skip because when we wait here, Olwen and Fred spawn and they start attacking me, and we don't want to use too much of our personal weapon on them. They actually have the invincibility flag, and we don't need to kill them to win. We're going to capture Leaf so that he doesn't die here, and so we can pop him out of capture and have him seize in the next turn. But Aswell's got a lot to sit through this turn. But yeah, Nitronaut, you were saying?
Yeah, one other thing that I don't think we've really mentioned yet because it didn't come up. In Thracia, unlike all the future games, you can both give and you can take a character and give in the same action.
Yeah, and you can trade. It's really nice.
Yeah, trade, give, take.
Yeah.
Rescue uses up your action, so does drop, but
it's just a big quality of life improvement, which is not a word you usually associate with Thracia. Graph Cal's effective against flyers because it's wind magic.
So those two are Fred and Olwen. They're going to be recruitable later, but we're just going to ignore them.
They're quite difficult to recruit. That's Largo. He's actually quite tanky, and in runs that don't involve Asvel, he's a significant challenge. You generally have to try and use magic weapons with characters that aren't proficient in magic, and that can be rough. And manipulating this combat can be rough because there's a lot of combat that comes before it. And again, we have to account for 64 different possible seats that we can be in. Thank you, Jello Improv.
Oh, Asvel's magic is working now. Yes, Olwen is Reinhardt's sister. We'll meet someone named Reinhardt later, and he, as far as I know, never actually says magic is everything.
So you may have noticed in these prep screens that we haven't ever modified the positions of these units. This isn't a mistake. I mean, we're warp skipping anyway. It's not like we really need to move everyone around, but we actually physically can. So the deployment order, like if you have, you only get to choose which units to bring and which ones not to bring. And the ones that are listed first in the menu just go in specific places. And this can be a real problem in the routing in this game for a few chapters, as we're going to point out when they come up. But just keep that in mind as I seemingly get rid of certain units that I wasn't really going to use anyway, but leave other ones in that I'm also not going to use anyway. This is what I'm doing. I'm setting up the deployment order for 5 chapters ahead, 6 chapters ahead.
chapter 19, chapter 20.
Chapter 20, the final chapter. 22 needs a specific deployment order. 18 needs one. 17 needs one. And a lot of those come one right after another. So, like, you really need to make sure it gets right.
There is some leeway in 17, 18, and 22.
There's not that much leeway. Like, 18 is the one where you're splitting your army with Xavier, right? So, like, it's like even odd. Like, that's not that much leeway. But yes, there is a bit of leeway.
Yeah. And the thing is, 19 and 20 come right next to each other, so specific odd, even, specific odd, even.
So Kempf over there, who just attacked us, he's got the invincibility flag, which is why we didn't try to kill him, and then he's just gonna leave. He'll return later, but yeah, not that big a deal.
And it looks like that guy capturing Leaf can just go out to the right, but that's not actually an exit point.
Yeah,
so,
I killed the bishop so that the bishop wouldn't be able to harass Leaf after the guy popped Leaf out of capture, or if I like killed the guy with the poison sword. But we're gonna go repair a warp here before we leave, and then we're just gonna go.
And he'd want to go to that escape point, which is probably that little door on the top of the map, but there's the door in the way, and he can't go through it, so he reverts to the attack anyone that you can see. AI.
Alright, so in this next chapter, we're going to do something kind of cool. We're going to manipulate the AI here. It's one of the few situations in the game where we do that. Rona, Mara, Selfina, this. To make Salem not use his sleep staff.
Yeah, Salem has a random chance to use his sleep staff every turn until it breaks. I would assume it's 50%, but I haven't really looked into it.
Yeah, neither have I. It's one of the last things I don't really know how to do in this game, is manipulate AI. But this RNG is, like, really fun. I don't know. I guess I just nerd out over that kind of thing, but...
Yeah,
figuring out algorithms to get really good probabilistic manips, especially for, like, the Fergus route, has been one of the coolest things I've done in speedrun writing. Yeah, there are no mounted enemies in castles. But there aren't, like, a lot of dismounted enemies in castles either. Alright, well, we're good. That Salem didn't use that sleep staff.
Kempf is a dismounted enemy, right?
Oh, yes, that's right. Kempf he's a mage knight, and so he'll get on this horse when we see him again in 16. I say see him again, but we'd have to point him out for you to see him. We don't actually have to fight him again. There's this whole big emotional thing with Olin and Kempf that we're just never going to get to see because the warp staff is king. Yeah, Shadow Dragon has infinite range warp, but we get to warp into the darkness here. Not every Fire Emblem game lets you do that.
Yeah, I'll even tell you which spaces you can and can't warp to.
Yeah, you can use his
Marita,
scout.
she's fine. She's recovered from what we didn't actually see because we,
take her word for it, she was evil, and now she isn't.
Alright, we also know we also would have known who Marita was if we'd played if we'd looked at the story in chapter 1.
So here we're making sure to take units that either have enough magic to not get stolen from with Tina's thief staff, or have no items to steal to begin with. But this is a guide-end chapter that we can complete in 2 turns, and it's got a lot of great things for us here. We get a new character recruit in Pan, who's a better thief than Lithus is, and he's got a weapon, the King's Sword, which is great, because it gives the user who has it the Charisma skill that gives people plus 10 hit and avoid if they're within 3 spaces. And we get to promote Lara into a dancer. It's a 50%, but we manipulated that 50%.
And Tina right there is a recruitable unit who's pretty good.
She's Safi's
certainly not
sister.
good enough.
Like, we don't have another staff user to, like, warp Safi over there. We'd have to walk her all the way around this maze-like interior, so that's just not going to be worth it. Gonna go pick up a stamina drink here, which clears fatigue on units. That's going to be very, very important.
I mean, she is useful in speedruns and stuff, but not useful enough to make up for the time to get her, at least in this run. Yeah, those games, so amazing.
This is a really intricate chapter, by the way, so there's a lot to talk about here. But first I'm going to do this prep screen. Perhaps with yes, drink. Please take it. Thank you.
Alright, and here's hoping you don't get blocked.
That's all of Avale's stuff, by the way. That's how I've gotten the storage. Hold on. Okay, so this is another Defend Escape chapter, but unlike the others, these, like some of the others, I guess, but this Escape chapter is all the way over here, and we have our new recruited unit, Glade, to help us out defending it while we get our butts over there. And we also have this Leinster Scrub Squad here, which exists only in this chapter, which we can move around and help out too.
So he's moving these Arch Knights to specific places.
Actually, we did get blocked. The armor blocked us because it got an extra move. I've never had that happen before. But basically, we get one turn of free movement over there, and they need to not move in such a way that it blocks the passage to the boss. That's very, very important. So this is one of the more annoying, like, chapters of the game.
Whoa, that's I've never seen that block.
Yeah, I've never seen that. Usually it's one guy on the right side that'll do it. But yeah, Glade's awesome. Like, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, that was just an extra move. I don't think there's anything you can do about it.
That Scrub Squad guy had an extra move as well right there.
Yeah, all enemies in this game have a 10% chance of getting an extra point of movement.
Naively speaking, in practice there are only 64 configurations of enemy stats, so
yeah,
it's whatever shakes out that the RNG gives you there. All right, so if the right arc, all right, we're probably not going to get blocked here. This is all good. It's not likely, but it happens. It happens often enough to be an annoyance in any percent. Like, you lose like a minute for this. This game is fun. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm having a blast.
So yeah, those guys are planning to attack whatever this castle is called.
So
help me out.
I don't know. It's Tara. Yeah, that's Tara. But
I thought Tara was a place in what's the place in chapter 14? Though?
Yep, that's where it is. We head in there and then we do the defend. This is chapter 13. But okay, so after we kill this boss, we actually transition between armies. Like, this army stops attacking us, they like lose their morale, and a different army comes in from the top where the Leinster Squad is all blocking their access. And they're all positioned such a way, like latest position and the Leinster Squad is position such that these enemies in the middle have no coherent avenue of escape. And so we're going to absolutely take advantage of that here. Thank you, Crewmaster.
Yeah, they want to escape to the left, which is not someplace they can actually reach. Glade is right there, and there's a diagonally placed guy right there.
And the three guys on top work with him too. If they weren't there, that they could go at the top.
Well, one of the two.
Yeah.
Oh, all three of them because that entire.
I think they might be able to get out. Well, at the very least, the one guy next to the diagonal guy helps, but the other guys might also be helping block them off. So now we're just gonna leisurely stroll out and escape.
And Karen is going to leisurely stroll past all these ballistas who are not going to attack her.
Yeah, it's like she's just a sitting duck out here. The ballistas are right there, man. But Any RPG can be speedrun, and especially strategy games if you just route hard enough.
Also, the Leinster Scrub Squad can escape into the castle just like your normal units. It does absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they're still not with us, so... Alright, Chapter 14. This is the first pure defend map we're going to be in, so hold on to your hats. Now, even though this is a defend map, there are ways to make this go faster, and we're going to show them to you. But first, we're going to just set ourselves up here. We're going to go buy ourselves a stamina drink. Get everybody in the right position. Is going to sell her stuff. That's the last stamina drink we're going to need in this game. So we just got access to Dean and Ada, by the way. They're just other wyverns and flying utility that are going to help out in the mid-game of this speedrun, I guess.
Okay, so one thing...
Oh, we lost Kane and Halvan in Chapter 13. Yeah, I agree, Micaiah. Or Mia Kiss John. I think it's a really cool strat.
So yeah, one thing to know about this game and most Fire Emblem games is that there's a maximum of 50 characters on any team.
So we want to beat this defend chapter without killing anybody, because if we do, reinforcements will just show us to replace them. They're not going to be problematic as far as combat, but they are going to take time, and we don't want to deal with that. So here we need to be mindful of enemies that have extra movement, but we're trying to set up a specific scenario here that I call the Clot, where there are enemies that capture my guys, and they're trying to leave, but they can't because they're blocked by their own allies. And there are enemies that are trying to attack us, and they're trying to get into our tower, but they can't because they're blocked by the people who are trying to leave. So... on turn 4, we're going to start seeing how that happens. Okay, so this guy has an extra move. Probably okay if we just do this. We'll kill him, but we'll get one reinforcement and that won't be bad. Alright, let's see if, oh no, this isn't the attempt where Aswell got swole, so Finn will be able to pick him up just fine. That guy also has an extra move, but I didn't notice. Oh, Baldak, you sneaky. Hopefully he's not a problem, because we're about to start clotting here. I think we'll be good. The Axe guy's moving first makes this more consistent. One more Axe guy needs to block the space in front of Ada. Yeah, alright. Setup's all good. I don't know, I'm on Bernie War Scroll train.
So now we're pretty much set. Finn's gonna get captured.
We're gonna take all his stuff. We're gonna give the lockpick to Lara.
So you see, enemies who have captured some of your units are going to try to escape from the map to
Like the
officially capture
bottom
you.
or the right or the left, I don't know, but they just can't get out. That's the point. We got the clock.
He's not blocked or anything. There is a route to there, so he's going to try to fulfill that, but he can't move any closer because there are other enemies in the way.
Yeah, the AI, like, I don't know how they choose their unit ordering, but they don't do it intelligently sometimes.
And something.
It's just obscure in Sign Epic. At least that's how I submitted it.
Since we're in downtime, we should probably mention what that S drink you got was.
Oh yeah, basically you can clear fatigue. Like we actually had Safi use it in chapter fatigue, but if you're over fatigued and you have it in your inventory during the prep screen, you can just pretend like you weren't and just go back to 0. So we're gonna use it again in chapter 18, and then after that we should be good. There are enough like junk maps in between other maps that we can sit out our main staff users and have them get refreshed, and they're the only ones that really care about fatigue at this point because, as I've said like an hour ago, you gain 1 fatigue for battles, but you could gain like 5 fatigue for a staff use if it's high enough rank, and the staff users are the ones with the lowest HP anyway. So,
not to mention we're not even doing much battling, unless your name is Asvel.
Look at this T pose right here. This is the holy T right here. This is the stable equilibrium where nobody wants to move anywhere. Oh yeah, those green units are actually hostile. They'll never get to us, but if they could, they would be. They're just another army. You don't get animations with them either. They default to like map animations, I think. I mean, you say that. I think this is a uniquely different strategy from other Fire Emblem defense maps because, you know, they don't have capturing. Like, for better or worse, this is different. And that's it. Now we're back on to faster chapters again.
So,
we're gonna repair the warp staff here.
Path, right?
Yeah, this is the one with 2 routes.
Yeah, the only goal in this battle is to choose which way to go.
Choose the correct route. We have to somehow not screw up and swing our cursor all the way to the right.
It was a 47 character run, and we were going to A route. We'd have to go over to the church instead, and also wait a turn for Ralph.
So the reason why we go A route here is one. I think B route has an escape map. I wouldn't know. I've never done B route, but it also has 2 warp saves to pick up. So.
And there isn't really that much to it unless you decide to wait 20 turns or something. Even casually.
Data. More unit order manipulation. Another double warp skip here. There's Kemp. Whee! Right in front of the ballista.
So if you were, what am I saying? If you were doing it casually for chapter 15 and using Marita, you might want to spend 20 turns just randomly killing stuff.
Yeah, going to the church also lets you choose the path, but we're not going to the church. We're just going to go to the thing. We don't need Sleuth, so... And we don't need the Restore. Linon's got a Restore, and even then we don't use it, so... Brook's not a hard boss. He doesn't have big shield. He doesn't have high magic. He can kill you with the Master Lance if he hits you twice, but you're in a forest. You're pretty good. Master Lance is like a Brave Lance, except it's 1-2 range. It's ridiculous. And here we go. So we're in chapter 17 where some more complicated things are going to happen. We could just double warp skip this, but we need a lot of stuff. So we're going to go get it.
Most importantly...
One Dagger, Dean.
Well, actually, there are two things that are both pretty important. Three things that are all very important.
Gonna repair this warp again. Second to last time we're gonna be doing this. But you see, we're running out of warp. We need to go get some more warp. So we're gonna get 2 of them here.
Yeah, because we're also running low on repair.
We've got 1 use of it left. So we're going to manage 2 movement stars again here. Then we're going to visit the church to get access to Sarah, who is OP. Move 1 diagonal to burn another RN. Movement star. Sweet. Then we do it again for Sarah's movement star. Give her magic increase, because the way status saves work in this game is they work if and only if you're higher magic than your target. So we needed to use that holy water to get above the threshold for this mini-boss here, whose name is Moore. Silencing him lets us capture him for free, and means so that he doesn't use the warp staff that he has in his inventory on the first turn. And these villages here also have 2 very important staffs. There's a rescue staff that we get from this village, and a warp staff in the one right after. So that's a good first turn.
Doesn't that Dark Mage also have something?
Well, the Dark Mage we just slept, Moore has warp and...
Silenced, yeah.
Yeah. Silence,
I remember he was useful for something.
Yeah, that's why we just did that.
Yeah, that's...
Be careful not to attack these guys. Get the warp from her. I think that's the sprite that has a duplicate sprite in Xavier's map. Like, the citizens... What always got me in that... Oh. We screwed up. I meant to capture him. Sometimes I can't read Japanese.
So, whom does Misha's group attack?
I don't know, but they don't attack Dean.
Maybe they're just gonna... Maybe they're just single-mindedly attacking Leaf or something?
So that was dumb. That's my bad. You misclick once you lose, but there wasn't that much to have to redo. Robert gonna get back the warp we just repaired. Get to see that manip again, I guess. Yeah, I guess Dean is just like, he's got enough of defense that it's not that big a deal. They attacked everyone I always use in casual play. Even the aura, like, we didn't manip this, it just doesn't happen. Here we go again. So there's a 12 to position 47 that we're using for Sarah's movement star, and I think it's at 270 where the 9 is that we got for D's movement star. It's just like, weirdly, even though there are 60 seeds, like, it's like a linear slope for the RNs. Like every position has like a slope value, and like in the first seed if it's like 2 and the slope is like 3, then the second seed is like 5 and 7, yada yada yada. So there are a number of seeds that just have constant numbers across all of the possible universes we could be in. And those are the ones that we get for these movement star manips. We're not gonna screw this up again. We're gonna get. Karen is going to capture this guy using the capture button, in which he can use it for free because he's technically unarmed. Then we're going to take his stuff, and then we're going to go finish the map. I'm going to manipulate the kill on the boss here. His name is Nikarf. Because he's not too hard, but if he hits you twice with the Master Lance, he can just kill you. And this is a long map to do again. Well, not that long, but longer than most.
So what were those two staves you just stole? I couldn't read
The Warp and the Fortify Staff.
Ah.
Oh, she'll be here. She's not permanently captured unless she gets dragged off the map.
Yeah, you can end a chapter with someone like chapter 14. There were two people who were just captured, but not.
It's okay. They were still with us in spirit and in practice.
Oh, and in addition to the whole
bit of a long prep screen here. Bear with me. A lot of saves going where they need to go.
So yeah, this map is really annoying if you're playing it casually or want to recruit all characters, because Xavier.
Sarah. There we go.
You are snagging the member card because
it's trivially
skipping.
Yeah. So the only thing we need to really point out here is that Sarah is going to end up as Vel, not because he needs it for the boss kill, but because Sarah's trying to get experience. She's got Elite, which gives her double experience from staves, and when she gets to level 10, which is soon, she's going to have enough magic to do whatever she wants, and she'll have A-rank staves to be our second warp user, which can save us a lot of time and headache in the future.
Okay, so you see those 8 civilians in the prison. There are also in the area in front of where the boss is. There are
See Starside, Gustav. Instant crit.
There are 12 armored dudes. 4 of them are just bad guys.
And they're gone. But yeah, you need to get all the armor dudes together with their families, without their families dying from the other enemies in the map, and then go talk to Xavier. This is the most infamous recruitment in the game, and we're not even going to touch this.
Wait, why would I do Kiss Me Goodbye after this run? Isn't there a Zodiac Age run later in this marathon?
Well, after this chapter, we're gonna be kissing a lot of people goodbye. So Leaf just got promoted. He thinks he's real awesome, and he's about to send half of his army into what he thinks is a good idea, and it isn't.
But fortunately, we've been manipulating our unit order.
So we don't care about anybody we're leaving behind. We took a good hard look at everybody we sent out there, and we said, "Nah, you guys can handle it." See you in Chapter 21X. We're leaving behind Lithis, Finn, Karen, Lenone, Salem, Dean. other people. But we're keeping Glade and
You
Ada.
mentioned Ida?
What? No, we're
Did you
keeping
mention
Ada.
Ida yet?
We're keeping Ada. She's here with us.
Huh. Why are you keeping her?
I don't know. she's got enough build to capture Sarah. At least that's one of the only things that matters for her slot. All right, but this is chapter 20. It's a unique defend map in that you not only have to defend 15 turns, but you also have to defeat the boss in that time in order to proceed. So hold on to your hats, especially because a lot of these characters are widely scattered around the area, especially since, as we mentioned earlier, unit deployment is a bit hairier than in some other Fire Emblem games. We had to plan this multiple chapters in advance to make it work out. And give everyone the door keys they needed to meet up with each other. This game is not broken. It's more balanced than most. It's weird. There's a lot of weird equilibria that you get that you wouldn't get in other Fire Emblem games. But it's not broken. It could certainly use a lunatic difficulty. We need a remake so we get a lunatic difficulty. That's what I want to see.
And also a fun fact,
does Ronan not have a door key? No, he does. Okay.
This battle is 6 months after chapter 19, but people are still fatigued if they're fatigued.
That's not the case here. We reset everybody's fatigue well, everybody left at chapter 19 didn't battle anybody, but...
Yeah, the people who matter got their fatigue reset. Well, basically, I guess that means Asvel and Sarah.
Yeah, we need more deep door keys for this chapter than the final chapter, and that's another chapter that you're really screwed in if you don't have enough door keys. Ronan has a scroll there so that he doesn't get crit by those killer swords. Like, we just kind of kept those guys with killer swords in our dungeon or something. I don't know. Even a hard difficulty, you know what I mean, gamer time, or at least anything is appreciated. I'll take the scraps I get at this point. So we're gonna sleep that guy to create a mini plot over there, so that they don't keep fighting our units. Take this time to repair the warp staff for one last time.
Yeah, I mean, this is another continuation of Leaf thinking he's better than he is. He didn't even take away those guys' weapons.
We don't need this snipe proof, we're just trying to stop the madness. And by the madness, I mean, there's going to be guys with thief staffs coming in, even though those are Tina-specific weapons, and they're going to try and steal, like, open all the doors and open all the chests, and it takes a long time to do that, so it's just a bit of animation time saving here.
Unlock Dave.
What did they change in Super Thracia? I have not heard of this. Yeah, I guess we did rob our own base. We're just moving stuff around so that the bishops can't take it.
Okay, we're securing the treasury.
See, that door's the one that we leave open. And they can miss, like, it gets funny when these guys keep missing with their thief staves. Like, it doesn't do anything, like, they're never going to get up to that door, it's just a waste of time. Okay, but now we're pretty much set up. As soon as Ada gets captured here, we're going to set up another plot. If you're talking about leadership stars, Baka Stefan, we haven't talked about that yet. That'll happen in chapter 22. But like, there's certain enemies on your side and certain units on your side and their side have leadership stars, which globally increase the hit and avoid rate of your army by 3% for each one.
And that place where that Lance Knight went is, I think it was Glade.
Yeah, Glade's up by that crack.
Yeah,
we want to stop these guys from coming out there to get to that crack. They really like opening these cracks in the walls here. The AI does, and then they like rushing the throne since nobody's on it. So that's the AI that we're going to exploit here. But yeah, well, let's talk about the boss kill now that like we're sort of starting to settle in here. The boss is at the bottom. His name is Barat. He's a real metal, and the annoying thing about him is he's got Big Shield as an ability, which gives him like a 20% chance of like blocking your attacks. It's kind of like just Pavis, but for like everything. And
Tortoise Girl.
And he's got the Tortoise Girl, which basically means that he's not going to get crit. And we've been relying on crits for these boss kills, essentially, you know, for the entirety of this game. So, like, we need to make sure that he's put to sleep so that he has, like, no stats. And we can hit him twice with the Graph Caliber, and then have backup strats in place in case his Big Shield activates and he doesn't die.
And yeah, this is, as we mentioned earlier, this is a weird victory condition. At least 15 turns needs to pass, and you need to kill the boss. You could kill the boss on like turn 20 if you wanted to, and it would still be fine, but you have to kill the boss.
I'm glad that Mage has no interest in attacking Sarah. I've never had it be a Mage instead of a Armor Knight that occupied that spot in the plot before.
And here you see why you wanted to not have Salem use the...
Yep, we need all of it. What turn is it?
Yeah, that's all 3 uses.
7.
I'm guessing Sarah has enough magic that Mage can't hurt her.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
Enemies are more suicidal after starting with FE6. A weapon triangle is a thing. It's just 5% hit and 5% dodge.
In this game, yeah. There are a lot more things that matter for your hit rates. That was turn 8 we just hit. Yeah, that's right. I like Shadow Dragon quite a bit. I thought the art style was a little goofy, but mechanically it was a solid game.
Yeah, enemies in the Super Nintendo games aren't completely suicidal. They don't attack with 0% chance to deal 0 damage. They just crowd you and don't attack. It's annoying when I tried to put Levin in near a big group of enemies.
No, I didn't warp casually in SD. I just liked the game. It was just fun. Alright, one more turn to wait, and then we start moving down there. Yep, they can't get in because the Slep guy's blocking the way. Slep guy obviously can't get out because he's asleep. What to do? Watch. If Barat doesn't die... Oh god, no, I didn't block the crack! That's a problem.
Oh.
Yeah, they're gonna start moving in.
As long as you're not blocked, it shouldn't be terrible.
That's not what you want. Oh my god, I actually ended the turn.
Okay, well,
I haven't made this mistake all week, and then I do this. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. We can maybe make this work.
Well, you're not entirely blocked, and you can just use extra turns. It's not like you have to do turn 20 or bust.
No, what worries me is Selfina's combat. Like, they might try to attack her now. But maybe that guy will just attack Lara instead. Yeah, if you don't block the crack, the House of Cards comes crashing down a little bit. Okay. I've seen worse. I'm gonna move down here. I'm gonna kill this guy so he doesn't kill me. We're gonna get reinforcements this turn. I think they're going to come from over there. Lara should still come down. They aren't attacking Selfina for some reason. I think we're still okay. That's not a bad idea right in 5 never. I'm not really sure how that would work in practice. Like with them getting the cloud. Yeah. Alright, no big shield. Good. I was worried about Blade having to pop yeah, so that's not bad.
I could hear that kill even through the screen delay. So now I get to see it now.
Good. That's a win. I got a little scared there for a second, I'm not gonna lie, but that's a win.
And you can see that Lara is captured, but Blade can set her free if Asvel needs to move again. Alright, Chapter 1. This is a forgettable one.
Well, one notable thing is we're going to use an extra warp here to pick up a sleep and a fortify from the little priest below the Dark Bishop that we're killing here. Chapter 4 and 5 cost time loss in this run. We have, from this point, maybe 15 minutes left at most. So we just have the final chapter to go. That's like any decent amount of time. Yeah, Chapter 4 I had to reset twice on. Chapter 5 I also had to reset twice on.
Ooh, nice movement up.
Who got a movement up there? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, Asvel did.
Oh.
And did he say this is a file where he already got movement up?
Yep.
Yeah, so pretty much unlike every
it's like 1 to 2% for each character, like to get a movement level. Okay, good.
Yeah, I think doesn't someone have 5%?
I mean, the estimation was optimistic, but I had a lot of safe strats planned. It's just, in spite of those, it kind of didn't work out anyway. It's annoying.
And there's also one scroll that increases it by 5% or something?
Yeah. It's just them's the breaks. Most of the time we would have come in underestimate. In fact, I came in underestimate pretty much during practice all this week. We've got a lot of time to make up this marathon, so I'm not overly bothered by it. It happens. I'm just a little disappointed.
This is 21X.
Oh yeah, this is our opportunity. Yeah, this is our opportunity to get everybody.
Yeah, everyone who's been captured throughout the game is in this prison. There are like, what was it? 17, 19 of them.
Something like that, yeah. 17 of them.
Yeah, but we didn't care about them then, and we don't care about them now.
But yeah, if you want to see more runs of this game, definitely, you know, I do this, but also there's a lot, you know, Japanese runners like Magu1230 who are better than me that do runs of this game regularly. Like, there's lots of good stuff out there. Okay. So this chapter is infamous because it has Reinhardt, and also because it's got Syas, who is standing right in front of the boss here. Syas is like a real morale booster, and he's got 10 leadership stars, which gives everybody in the enemy team a plus 30% hit and avoid rate. So even as godly as Asvel is, he's going to have a rough time with this one, unless I manipulate it. And even then, it's only a 3/4 chance of success. Because Cohen here, the boss we're fighting, has Big Shield in addition to having the high avoid rate from Syas.
Hey, Leaf is giving him plus 20 hit and avoid. That's gotta count for something, right?
No, he'll only, well,
oh, right.
he's not even near him in this one. This chapter is actually very resistant to warpscapes because Syas is invincible and standing in the place that we'd love to put Leaf for this kind of thing. So yeah, that's a 3/4 minute, and you know, 3/4 of the time it works every time.
I don't think you ever recruit Reinhardt.
Nope.
You do get thirst.
Reinhardt's like a Camus. He's like a boss, you know? It's just...
Don't you get something if Olin talks to him or something?
Yeah, you get the Holy Sword, which is a sword that gives you more magic. There we go. We don't really care about the first hit. It's the second hit that we really, really care about, because that's basically guaranteed to be a crit. And that'll work. But we're not done in Chapter 22 just yet. We've got another warp staff to pick up through a convoluted series of rescues and rescue staff uses.
Alright, so it's someone that said it in chat. I'm gonna have to try to say it myself in the right tone of voice. Magic is everything. I had to.
Yeah, someone goes by... Wire ran it in an RTA in Japan marathon a while back. I haven't seen his stream. But yeah, and there was a guy named Ryuta who did the old Fergus route. Okay, so with that, Glade has just enough movement to get to this house. Warp staff. Alright, so this is a chapter with another choice that casual players will remember, right? Where you can either pick up Seti or Syas as your new character. And
Seti is infinitely better, but it takes an extra turn and we don't need him. Syas is good enough.
And actually we want Syas because he has more movement stars. We can manipulate that easier.
Huh, it's true.
So yeah, Syas utility. This is obscure. Every boss dies the same way. Apply Asvel.
And warps.
I mean, magic is the way to go a lot of these times, because again, these thrones give you 10 defense. That's no joke, even with like guaranteed crits that you can get on physical setups. Yeah, FBI is a great cast. It's beautiful.
Rip Alfun, or whatever his name was. That's what it looked like his name was on the screen.
So the last unit ordering for the final chapter, which is its own unit ordering hell.
And this is also the last warp skip chapter. This is also the last warp skip chapter. The final chapter actually has
a lot of things that we need to get accomplished.
I guess you use warp and sleep and
for their
to skip some of it.
Yeah, I mean, you use warp for its intended purposes. You kind of do just need to ferry people around all over the place.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is why we kept Marita this whole time, because she can recruit her dad, Galzus. Woo! Let's go manip his kill.
I don't think it's actually explicitly stated that he's her dad, but it's pretty strongly implied.
They must say it at some point in the game. They definitely say it like 24x, which we're thankfully not going to.
Yeah, he's...
Okay, that's one of the ones we're looking for, yeah. The green circles means we attack 10 times, and the blue circles means we ignore his defense. So Galzus is like crazy, you just need to activate the skills, and we manipulated him to kill Ranger 3/4 of the time there. 3/4 of the time, it works every time.
Oh yes, Astra, Luna. You didn't even need the Astra.
No. And it's better when those skills trigger in the second half, because Galzus has like a ridiculous PCC, so he'll get more crits if it's after Rydrick's attack. Also needs a scroll to not get crit.
Oh, Galzus definitely freed Marita from Manster. We even saw that scene, even though he skipped through the actual text.
We're bringing everybody. We got the unit order all mapped out here. So we're going to do a lot of stuff here, and Nitrocon's going to go through it while I do it.
Alright, so basically there are 12 Dead Lords, and there are only 6 of them are actually in this chapter / game, but all 12 of them are in the final chapter of FE4. So the main big threat at the very beginning is Elf in the top right, because she has a Berserk staff, and she has really, really, really high magic. Also note these dark
this
mages
being Elf over here,
have hell.
Which reduces you to 1 wherever you are, yeah.
Yep. Can it kill you if you're at 1? I forget.
I don't think it can, but I also forget. Usually what happens is they reduce you to 1 and their basic dark magic poisons you and you just die at the beginning of your turn. It's mean.
So yeah, so for these dark mages, we either want to kill them or manipulate them to kill someone and go up 2 spaces, depending on which one.
We're going to manipulate 2 movement stars here.
Right.
The first is Pawn's movement star, so we can compactify actions like Door, Dark Mage, and then get on the purple floor. The purple floor gives anyone who's standing on it plus 10 magic, so that's really annoying when we want to status save a lot of these people. Elf has max magic, she's got capped magic, so we actually need to buff Sias, make space for him on the purple floor, and have him use the Silent Staff on her to make this work.
Right, I forgot to mention those 6 areas. In the very center, there is a magic circle thingy, and in order to get to the final to the boss, you have to get one character on each of those 6 magic circles at the same time.
There we go, Silas' movement star. Let's go.
So
you can get out of there.
Yeah.
Asvel can replace him.
So here we're silencing Elf, although it already happened from your perspective. I have like 11-second stream delay. And that means she's not going to berserk anyone. And also she can easily get
I almost forgot to have Sarah save drive. Good thing I did that R scroll. That probably wouldn't
Yeah.
have mattered as much, because Asvel could probably take him, but...
And, let's see, yeah, Dry right there, that Dagda clone is, is not very annoying,
Alright.
but it can be.
All the mecha fans, it's time to say goodbye to Ronan. I think I left... I didn't wait with Selfina, I think. I'm pretty sure I didn't wait with Selfina.
I should probably mention who all of them are. On the bottom, there's Ainz, who's Rage Rate clone. You know, the guy you just killed in the previous chapter. He's back. The top is Phi. He's Galza's clone, was it?
Yep, that's a Galza's clone. So, since he's a Galza's clone, he's awesome. So we don't want to touch him either. We're going to be sleeping in later. I don't think
Bottom
I
right guy is Dry, the Dagda clone. He's not too bad to deal with. Bottom left is Foomf.
We may still be able to make this work with baiting Selfina. She's supposed to lay there to draw Foonf out from her seal. I think it'll be okay.
Is it? I forget how the Foomf works. Is it that Avel is really Bridget and?
Yeah, that's the one.
So she's Avel as an archer. Top right is Elf. She's a Sarah clone, and we've seen how useful Sarah is. So.
Alright, so if this doesn't work, I'll have to restart, but hopefully it does. I think it will.
So the general strategy in a lot of these maps is to, I think 3 of these, areas is to, convince the Dark Mage to attack, which involves going up 3 spaces for some reason, and then convince the Deadlord to attack using a ranged weapon through the door. And then just sleep the Deadlord or something.
Pong normally dies here too. I'm surprised he survived.
And yeah, the top left guy is Phi. He's a Pawn clone, I want to say?
No, he's a Liphis clone.
Liphis clone, okay. And he doesn't even kill you because you will see that you'll have a bunch of junk items for him to steal. I mean,
yeah, he's a thief, so he's got steal ability.
Take away the guy's iron sword or kill him. I'll take the iron sword.
His sword's also a berserk sword, so if it hits you, like, you're berserk. That's permanent, you know. Your guy's just gonna turn against everybody. Yep, FE7 did a similar game, and I quite like that final chapter as well.
Yeah, although
Alright. Please, 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 Foon. Please work the way I want you to. Oh, that's bad.
Did he go down 2 spaces?
No, he didn't go down, so he just targeted Selfina.
Ooh.
Alright, I want...
Can you,
Nope, I can't save it.
Darn.
Well, thankfully we have time. That's all I gotta say. We get to see all this stuff again. Shrug it off. We manipulate this crit here. We don't care that Othin's at 1 here. Oh, that crit needs to actually kill, so maybe that again. We don't account for that. We just manipulate the crit so that it happens. So okay, it's going to be 10 minutes from this point. Now, there is a specter at the end of this that the final boss kill is only 56 out of 64 to happen with this manip, and we can't do better than that. But if we fail to kill the final boss, we'll just call it at that point. We're not going to go through the entire 10 minutes of the final chapter again for that, but 56 out of 64 are good odds. I'll just do the item next turn. I'll have to remember that.
Yeah, and more about the Berserk status. It makes you attack everyone. In most Fire Emblem games, or games in general, it just makes you attack any enemy. Here it makes you attack everyone. Enemy, ally, no difference. It is really annoying.
The funny thing is, for a while, there's actually a bug where since fatigue kicks in, if you get a movement star in the last turn of the previous chapter, you can't get one in the first turn of this chapter. And it was actually really annoying. Like, I didn't know what was happening where Sias wouldn't get his movement star, and it turned out it was corresponding to the runs where I got a movement star in the last chapter. But you can fix that bug by dancing him in the last chapter, and apparently that clears it. It's really weird.
Yeah, I think it's related to the intended mechanic that you can only get one movement star. You can't just movement star to get to the end in one turn. Oh yeah, in the Silence Elf, you need M up, and these purple floors are plus 10 magic.
Yep.
And Elf has maxed magic, so you need...
She's got like 30 magic. Sias has like 34 or something at this point because he got him upped. So yeah. No, yeah, 5.
So Elf practically has 10 more than max, so you need even more than that.
Just do a cursory check on everything. Make absolutely sure I haven't screwed up here. Okay.
Make absolutely sure Selfina waited?
Yes. No, I don't make the same mistake twice in a row most of the time. I'm not that dumb. I'm pretty dumb, but I'm not that dumb. See you, Pawn. So yeah, these helper minions that are like next to all these bosses are like wildly different in like scope. Because like these guys had master lances, the guys that were attacking Pawn and master bows, but the ones in the places we're going to tank have like poison axes and poison spears, which aren't nearly as threatening in the short term.
Actually, I just remembered something, even though it's not really relevant because they're not using Berserk at all, but if it is a Berserk enemy, enemies will attack him too.
Good job, Spy. That's some overkill right there. I'm pretty sure just a hit would have done.
What did Spy do?
And he triggered Astra and Luna. Okay. Dagger trade.
Nice.
Drop Oathland. Okay, so Leaf moves one left. Go pick up Galzus.
That random movement star.
Yeah, we don't need these movement stars. Fine. Yeah, I mean, it happens. Like, Marathon should still be okay. I'm, slightly disappointed. That's just how it goes. We're going to finish strong here. We got this final chapter. I believe in you, Asvel. I believe in the 56 out of 64 to not look like a doofus. So Veltier is actually an interesting final boss because he starts with long-range magic, so you can just warp him and kill him. His biggest asset is his 80 HP. Gull's got to essentially kill Roderick again here. May take him a few turns to do so. Roderick's got a sword which basically halves his effective attack, which can make it difficult sometimes.
Well, technically that's Ainz.
Technically.
It's the same character, though. Did you just not crit on your pursuit hit?
Yeah, I did just not crit on my pursuit hit. Well, if I was getting a movement star, I should have attacked, but we want to put the Master Sword here. Lara moves here. And then Asvel kills Dry. So now we're going to start positioning to get onto the seals. In fact, in this game, JTD, staff missing is beneficial to us. We used it to grind weapon XP in Chapter 3. But getting 10 skill, like, you'll hit the saves every time. It's not even like the 99 hit rate that you get in the fights. Okay, that's gonna kill. Alright, good.
Hey, there's an enemy here with 3 HP left. I'd better steal his iron sword.
Goes onto this seal.
I hope you have a way to heal him.
Oslin? No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you only get one free. He only gets to divert one attack then.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it's gonna work. That's been fine.
Okay, and Lara is sacrificing herself, so who's going on to spot?
Blade is.
Yeah, so
Blade doesn't have to deal with this Dark Mage. Alright, the final turn is coming up. This is going to be the last enemy phase. Everybody's on seals, everybody's on seals. If they all stay on the seals at the beginning of this turn, the section in the middle opens up and we get to warp to it. It doesn't, though, because we commit it to stave missing. You can give mages the skill ring. Gives them a reason to have skill.
So, in the top left area where Wolf is, Dogda has the hammer equipped, and for some reason that deals effective damage against armored characters, and for some reason that dissuades the
ranged attackers.
Armor. Yeah. Goodbye, Othin.
Hey, goodbye, Laura. Okay. Moment of truth. We're going to do a manipulation here to get 2 crits, and it works most of the time.
Oh no, my iron sword! Oh, iron blade, whatever. I saw iron.
Hold on, I need to count this. This is on cartridge, Frosty Shark. Wow! That sucks. Alright. Guess that's how this ends then. Most of the time it works. But we got the 6 out of 64 to end off the run. I'm not going to delay the marathon any further here. The only other thing that we needed to do to finish the run here is just warp leave to the throne and have him finish the chapter. So, 58 out of 64 that we get. So I'm going to call it on time. That was a really silly way to end this, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys check out more Thracia runs in the future. It really is a pretty good game, even though it's obscure, and it really is more consistent than this marathon would have you believe. Thank you very much for your time.